All right, welcome back to another episode of Andrew's Garage, and we are still working on this dang Pontiac. Now it's kind of coming down to the nitty-gritty stuff with the stuff that costs a lot of money, and it's starting to get spread out. So I need to knock out a couple things so I can keep the ball moving as far as the content, but I'm slowing down on the new purchases just because they're getting to the expensive stuff. So basically what I got going on here is that is the ICT low mount alternator setup, which I had to drill and tap the block here for the mount. This is an LS1 pulley with an LS1 water pump. So basically, one thing I need to do is make a rear support for this alternator, which is super easy. So it's just going to be here from the block straight to there. So it's pretty much, it's straightforward. I can make that in one piece, and I have the material to make that, so that's no big deal. But one thing I did was I tried to put this on last night with my dad to give me some hands, but it actually hits this clutch master cylinder here. It's just a little bit too far out with that 90, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to work on this a little bit tonight. I'd like to get this cut off and maybe get the blower motor cut off because it's kind of in the way. But basically what I got going on is it's hitting here. I think I would be able to just remove this and have it go on, but I'd like to have some extra clearance in there because I will be running some wires back behind here, and I think it'd just help if this was just clearanced. It's a little bit rotted up here anyways, so it's not as bad as this side. This side's good here. So I'm just gonna come through here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that rod off because that's annoying. And I'll probably come through here like this and angle cut it, and then make a new piece that's flat and comes up, or tapered angle. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do. And then I need to drill and tap and get a bolt in that inner fender on the bottom and the top. So just a couple things I need to do, but other than that, I think that's it as far as back here and to get it in the car. And then as soon as I get the radiator in, that's when I can make the new core support mounts for it. So still moving right along, and I'm hoping to have this bad boy fired up here probably the middle of next month. So that should work out good for everything, because I like to at least get it to one event before the freaking winter happens. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get the camera set up and start cutting this out and making some clearance. Alright, so here's kind of the somewhat finished product. I need to weld it up a little bit, but yeah. So that is now notched for the clutch master cylinder. Everything fits fine. I just kind of threw this fender up on there by myself, all rough like, and got it in place. Just wanted to take a look at it. Don't know if the hood's gonna clear or not. It's gonna be awfully close, but it might just fit. So yeah, it's pretty neat. I understand the fenders still need to be painted and clear coated yet, so that's why it looks so different between the back to the front. You can tell the major difference in color just from cleaning all the rust off the door and clear coating it. So I'm looking forward to it. The front fenders look like they're actually going to have quite a bit of paint on it, so it should look pretty neat. So yeah, successful day. Also did kind of get this mount done here for the alternator. It's kind of rough looking yet. I still need to finish it, and round the edges and give it a paint job, but it bolts on, it does its job like it's supposed to, and it was free, and it took about 10 minutes to make, so that's the best part about it. But overall, that's about all I'm gonna get done tonight. I've been helping a lot with some other things, but I'm excited to get back to work on it this weekend. This weekend I'd like to get the front fenders done, so I'd like to get them all welded up on the inside. The bottom of the fenders, like to get them all welded up and get the inside painted, and the outside I'd like to get it clear coated all this weekend. I think I'm just going to wire wheel the rust where it's real bad and try to SOS pad where it's not so bad. You can see here where it'll actually clean up halfway decent. And this panel here, I'm going to make it black, so I'll remove the original hinge. I do believe I'll probably run hood pins, not unless I can get this guy freed up and the spring's still good. I'm not sure if it is or not, but yeah, we're still moving along. And I'm excited to get this done, because once this is done, then it can be bolted on the car permanently. So once that happens, everything else is going to start falling into place, because this was one of the last things that needs to be welded up, and then the roll bar cage is the last thing that needs to be welded up before I can put the wiring harness in the car. So we're getting close. The only thing I'm lacking is fuel pump, fuel lines, and injectors, and throttle body. So those are the last things I need to get it to be fired up. So, and the radiator's on order, so that'll be coming in, so I can modify that. So basically I need to do the last bit of stuff for the radiator for this, and then roll bar, and then we're moving on to wiring harness. So we're coming towards the end of it. Today I want to jump right into it, and I got my radiator in. So basically what I want to do is make a radiator support bracket of some sort. So usually they have like a pad here and something up top to clamp the radiator from the top side, but I really don't have anything. So I was kind of looking at building something off my inner fenders and doing some of that, and I just decided that I bought the radiator to fit in between the frame rails, so there's no contact that needs to be done between the inner fender wells. It can all be contained here by itself on its own unit. So that means that I could potentially pull off the whole front end with just connecting the headlights and turn signal wires, so it'll all come off in one shot, and it won't affect this radiator and everything else. So basically I'm just going to build some kind of bracket to hold the radiator in. So kind of what I was imagining was a piece of metal that comes down around, kind of like the original core support there. You can see it like a U-channel. I want to do the same exact thing, but I want to do it inside of here. So it's going to be contained. The whole radiator is going to have rubber on each side, and the radiator will slide down inside of this U-bracket. And on the corners, I'm going to build 90-degree edge corners with tabs sticking out or studs sticking out, so I can push down on each side of the radiator and tighten it up, and that will secure it inside the rubber, so we won't have any movement there. And then I'll build 2 support brackets that come off that framing that I build, and it'll go down to the frame rail, so that'll hold it this way and that way. So it'll be super strong, super durable, and it won't be connected to the front core support at all. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'll take you over there and show you what I got drawn up. So here is the measurements that I took. So the radiator will slide inside of this bracket that I'm making. But basically, like I said, it's going to be a U, and it's going to be U material. I'm going to have to make all of it. But basically, It's 18 inches tall, 24.5 inches wide. Even though the radiator is 24, I'm using this thin rubber here, conveyor belt, and I'm going to lay that in the bottom and the sides all the way around it. That'll hold it tight in there, and it'll also stop it from rubbing holes in the radiator. So it'll slip down inside of there, and then I needed a pedestal mount on the bottom for the center. So the pedestal mount needs to be 2¼ inches tall to raise it up a little bit. I think it'll look better, it won't be so low. So that pedestal mount will have a center bolt sticking out of it here. And then I'll have to make mounts for the 90-degree brackets that are going to go. You can see it right there. That 90-degree bracket is going to have a slider with a bolt stud sticking out of this outside frame. So I'll be able to push down and clamp the radiator in there with rubber underneath that. And that'll be able to hold the radiator tight. And then there'll be another stud sticking out for the support brace that goes back to the inner frame rail. So all this is going to be all self-contained and bolt. Should work out really nice and look good too at the same time. So you see I got the main material started here, which I guess I should probably redo that. Maybe. Depends. Because I can cut this and then cut 2 more inch pieces, or I might be able to move it diagonally or sideways a little bit and be able to make one cut and score both sides and bend that material around and go ahead and slice it and pie cut it and make it all in one shot, which I might try to do that now that I'm looking at this. So that might be the way to go. It'll come in conflict over here, but I can probably fix that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera. I'll redo this mark here, and it'll be the same thing. It'll just be 2 inches wider for the lip. So I'll go ahead and start doing that. Alright, so it's the next morning, and here's kind of where I'm at with it. I got the stud sticking out for the support braces that'll go back. And basically, after welding this up, it's kind of spread apart at the top, which is fine. I got a strap, I'm going to start ratcheting it back together at the top to 24.5. And then I'll take one of these pieces of steel, this angle on the back side, and I'll weld it as a brace. Basically, here it is all mounted and done. And one thing that sucked was I actually had to cut that back apart to slide the radiator in with the rubber and everything, and then I squeezed it back and welded it back together afterward. So that's gonna be a little touch-up job. But the radiator is all the way in, the foam is all the way around it, so it won't be any metal on metal contact. There's rubber down the sides and at the bottom, and it is very sturdy even without this one side clamp. I decided that I'm just going to do the one side here because it can't come out with just the one clamp on it, and it is extremely tight left and right anyways. You can't even move it. So this is basically done. Fan is there. So much room for activity still. I'm extremely happy with the way everything looks, and the reason why I extended that up there was for the hose height. I just like it being this is the highest point of the motor, so that is what I did. So this is the highest point. This hose is just gonna 90-90. I'm gonna have to work on something to get that to work. But yeah, so that's all done, and I'm happy with it. It's not my best work, but it'll definitely do the job, and it makes it nice. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.